Men need those men. And without a tribe, a man is vulnerable. He is no longer a lion. He's like a lone gazelle on the plains of the savannah. He's prone to depression. He's prone to anxiety. And statistics show that he's then more likely to get divorced because he's put in a lot of weight on his wife that she was never designed to carry. He's asking her to be his lover, but then his mother, and then also his therapist, and then his best mate. Women need to see you as strong, that you've got your shit together.
Welcome to the Strong Dad Show with your host, Adam Lloyd. Together, we are stronger.
Guys, welcome back to the Strong Dad Show. Now, I wanted to start by doing a little exercise for me, okay? Pull out your phone, open your contacts on your phone, and just scroll through the names. Just start scrolling through the names. And now I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to be brutally, uncomfortably honest with yourself. If your world completely fell apart tonight, you get a dreaded email from HR, you get a terrifying health diagnosis, or your wife tells you that she's leaving you, who could you call? Take that scroll through your contacts and think about who you could call to lean on, okay? Obviously, I don't mean your wife. I don't mean your parents. Which man on that list could you call at 2 a.m., a complete mess, and say, mate, I'm not doing okay, I need help? Now, for many of you, the answer is nobody, because for many of us, we've got a lot of friends, a lot of acquaintances. Very few of us have got solid brothers. How many of you is that contact list just essentially a graveyard of your old friendships, guys from university or from a place that you used to work at, guys that you haven't spoken to for probably over a decade, work colleagues that you can only talk to about projects and deadlines, or the other dads from your kids' football teams that you just give a polite nod to when you see them on a Saturday morning. If that is you and you're starting to worry a bit, then I want you to know that you're not alone. Because we are in the middle of a silent epidemic as men. It's not on the front page of the news. It's never going to be on the front page of the news. But it's a killer, okay? It's the death of male friendship, of brotherhood. It's the reason that so many men are just drifting, that so many men are depressed and anxious and facing their biggest battles and challenges in life completely alone. And utterly depressed, if we're honest. We've been sold this romantic bullshit lie of the lone wolf, the rugged, self-reliant man who needs no one else, who walks alone, who's stoic. It's bullshit and it's destroying us. So today, we're not just going to talk about friendship. We're going to talk about survival and survival through brotherhood. We're talking about why boys and men need brothers, and we're going to have a practical, no-fluff, step-by-step guide on how to build a tribe from scratch, even if you're starting from zero. So let's get to the heart of it. Why are we so damn lonely? That's the main question. It's not one single thing which is making us lonely. It's likely a perfect storm of factors that have conspired to isolate us, society being one of the big ones. First and most obvious, life happens. We get serious about our careers, we get married, we have kids, and suddenly our time becomes the most precious commodity that we have. And what's the first thing that gets ruthlessly cut from the schedule when things get busy? It's the time you used to spend with your friends. It's the game of five-a-side. It's the game of golf. It's the walk on the mountain. It's the pint in the pub. It's the game of darts. So is the first thing that gets cut. It's the weekend fishing trips. It's the gym session. When you should go to the gym and actually have a gym partner and not train on your own with headphones. We tell ourselves that we're just being responsible, we're being good men, we're being good dads, that we're focusing on our family, which clearly is important. But what we're actually doing is cutting off our own supply of happiness, of connection. We're isolating ourselves in the name and guise or false disguise of responsibility. And secondly, we've forgotten how to do it. We've lost the social muscle memory, if you want to call it that. As kids, we could make a best friend at school in 5 minutes. The shared experience of kicking a ball was enough to make a solid friendship. But as grown men, the idea of walking up to another man and saying, "Hey, you seem like a good dude, we should hang out sometime," that's just weird. It feels weird, but it shouldn't be weird. It feels awkward, and the one thing that a modern man is terrified of is appearing needy. So we wait for someone else to make the first move, and because every other man is doing the same thing, we all just wait in silence. Think of the last time you've seen two grown men trying to create friendships with each other. I can't think of the last time it happened. So yeah, we just wait in silence. And then third is the most dangerous part of all, and it's our culture. Our culture has become actively hostile to male spaces, the traditional places where men gather to talk. So the pub, sports clubs, working men's clubs, lodges, they've either vanished or they've become so watered down and inclusive that they've just completely lost their power of what they used to be. And any new attempt to create a male-only space is immediately viewed as suspicious. And I say that from experience with StrongDads being a community interest company. It is still, you feel something in the air when you're talking to potential grant funders or other supporting organizations when you say, no, this is just for men. People don't like it. And it's wrong. It is wrong, but it is what we're dealing with. Group of men in these days, so group of men sort of gathering together, is seen as a potential threat, as toxic masculinity or a toxic boys club that must be infiltrated and disbanded. So we retreat to our lonely selves again. We retreat into the isolation of our own homes. We tell ourselves that our wife is our best friend, that we only need our wife and we only need our kids, and that she should be your best friend, which is good. But listen to me. Your wife can be your best friend, but she cannot be your brother. Okay? Perfect example. A few weeks back, 27th of December, as part of the South Wales sort of branch of StrongDads, we completed a 26-kilometre log carry. The biggest thing that I took from that 26-kilometre log carry, 6 hours of hardship and pain, was that when two guys who had never met each other got onto the log, either end, one holding, say, the front right, one holding the front left, never met each other, within minutes, they would be talking about the deepest things, about their fears, about their struggles, about the good and the bad of their families and relationships. You can't have those conversations with your wife. You need to have them with a brother. And your wife cannot understand the crushing weight of masculine responsibility in the same way that another man can. She cannot give you the unfiltered, sometimes harsh feedback that you need with the complex dynamics of your marriage getting in the way. Good luck talking to your wife about the struggles of your relationship without it getting heated. It just doesn't happen. And for example, when you complain to your wife about work, she tries to solve your problem when all you need is someone to say, yep, sounds shit. It's the same everywhere else. When you're at your weakest, a part of, and again, you're never going to get this admitted, but when you are then at your weakest and you are really struggling and you need to speak to someone about how weak you are feeling, that's where a brother can be so beneficial and so strengthening and empowering. But you speak to your wife in that situation about those things, and part of her admiration for you as a man gets lost. You seem weak in front of your wife. And I stand firm in my opinion that men should never appear weak in front of their families. We need outlets. We have mental health challenges, and I'm all for that, but you should never appear weak. You should appear in control. And you should appear to acknowledge that if you have weaknesses, you work on them to build them into strengths. You should never be a liability for your family, okay? So there's certain things you just can't talk about with your wife. It's a biological reality between the male and the female. And for us men, we need men. It's not a luxury. It's not a nice to have friends. It's a biological and spiritual necessity. You look back to the hunting tribes and men being the hunters and gatherers. You need that brotherhood. That's why you get such strong bonds within the military and first responders like the police and the fire service. Men need those men. And without a tribe, a man is vulnerable. He is no longer a lion. He's like a lone gazelle on the plains of the savannah. He's prone to depression. He's prone to anxiety. And statistics show that he's then more likely to get divorced because he's put in a lot of weight on his wife that she was never designed to carry. He's asking her to be his lover, but then his mother, and then also his therapist, and then his best mate. Women need to see you as strong, that you've got your shit together. That's biologically what women need. That's what they find attractive. And when you start treating your wife like your mother and your therapist, it's just all too much. And then what happens is the guy just drifts from his purpose because there's no one in his life holding him accountable to the mission that he set for himself. That's when guys fall into dead-end jobs, become overweight, lose their hair, and they're just sloppy, greasy messes. So how do we fix it? First of all, we stop complaining, okay? We stop waiting for an invitation that's never going to come. We've got to start building. So here it is, a 3-step operational plan for you to build a tribe. What I will say is that all of you listening here, if you are dads and men, you are welcome to the Strong Dad Tribe. There'll be a link below in the show notes. We have free health and fitness resources, weekly coaching calls, great group of guys, online community. We do occasional face-to-face meetups as well for physical events and a bit of shared hardship, but you're more than welcome to join Strong Dads. That's below. But if you want to start your own tribe, here's a 3-step plan to do so. Step 1 is the reconnaissance mission. Okay, I like to make things sound fancy and exciting when they're not. So here's the reconnaissance mission. Before you can build, you need to find the raw materials. Okay, you're looking for what I call HPMs, high potential men. They are not just any guys. Last thing you want to be doing is surrounding yourself with losers, surrounding yourself with people who are the opposite of what you want to be, or surrounding yourself with people who you currently are. If you find yourself in the pub drinking too much with no motivation, don't surround yourself with people who go to the pub too much with no motivation. You need high potential men, okay? They're not just any guys. Like I said, you're not looking for drinking buddies or guys to complain with. You're looking for men who share your values, who share your ambitions and your mission, and who at least share your desire to be a better man, okay? Absolute minimum. Men who have a spark of ambition. These are the kind of men that you want to be looking for. Men who take care of themselves. Men who have a quiet competence and confidence about them. And where do you find these high potential men? You have to go to places where men are already trying to improve themselves. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people forget that. You're not going to find them in the pub. The gym is an obvious place to start. There can be plenty of men there who are trying to improve themselves. So start at the gym, but especially and specifically start in the corner where they do the hard lifts, the squats and the deadlifts and the cleans, because they're men who are embracing difficulty and learning in order to get better. Other places you can look are combat or martial arts gyms and dojos. Boxing gyms is a good place. Brazilian jiu-jitsu could be a fantastic place to find disciplined men who like to embrace discomfort. A challenging hobby group, so a climbing gym, a cycling club, stuff like that. But also a church or a faith group that hasn't gone completely soft, which a lot of them have. We don't want to be fluffy, welcome all love and happiness men. So try and find a faith group or a church where they respect the ideals of men being providers and protectors. If you want a bit more inspiration on that, look at Pastor Joby Martin. Absolutely love his talks. But you can also look even within your own workplace. Look for a man who is quietly excellent at his job, who doesn't get involved in office gossip, and who carries himself with a certain gravity. Okay? So start keeping an eye out for high potential men. Okay, take that as a mission for the next month, and it's simply to identify 3 of these men. Let's put that. Identify 3 men in the next month who are those high potential men who you would find benefit of being a brother with. Okay. You're not approaching them yet. You're just watching them. You're just identifying them. You're sort of on that reconnaissance mission. Okay. You're observing their character from a distance. Step 2 then is that first contact. This is the part that requires courage. This is where you have to risk rejection, and it sounds weird and cheesy and quite sloppy me talking about this, but in order to find those men who are going to uplift you, motivate you to be better, you have to risk that rejection. You have to make that first contact. But you just have to take it one move at a time, okay? One small move. You don't have to do it with a big, awkward, "Ooh, will you be my friend?" You just do it with a simple, low stakes, you-driven invitation, okay? So let's take the gym, for example. You walk up to the guy that you've identified and you say, hey buddy, excuse me. I've seen you here grinding every week and your form on your deadlifts is solid. I really respect that. I'm trying to get my deadlift up to the next level and I'm struggling with my lockout, for example, or I'm struggling with my first pull. Any chance I could get your opinion on my setup sometime? Okay, you're not asking to be friends. You're not being cheesy. You're saying, look, I respect you for this. I'd like to get a bit of that myself. Any chance you could lend me a bit of support? Now, what have you done there? You haven't asked for his friendship. You've asked for his expertise, which a lot of men love. You've honored his competence, which a lot of men love. You've made him feel respected, which a lot of men love. And it's a Trojan horse almost for connection. Okay, now 9 times out of 10, a good man will be happy to help. If he's not happy to help, he is not the brother for you anyway. Leave him alone. He deserves to be alone. Or let's say that there's a man that you already know, a dad from your kid's school. You text him and say, hey, X, whatever his name is. Hey, John, quick question. I'm putting together a small informal group of 3 to 4 dads to keep us all accountable on our fitness and career goals. Just a quick check-in once a week via WhatsApp, or maybe a pint once a month, or a walk in the mountain once a month. No bullshit, just a way to stay sharp. Is this something you'd be remotely open to? Okay. Now that is scary. It can feel uncomfortable. Your heart will be pounding when you press send because you're fearing that rejection. But I promise you that most men are starving for this kind of connection and brotherhood because not many men have it. They are just waiting, like you, they are waiting for someone else to have the courage to ask and to make the first move. And then step 3 is forging the tribe's constitution. Okay, once you have 2 to 4 men who are in, you must give the group a purpose. This is the most critical step. Otherwise, you're just pissing in the wind. You've got no direction, you've got no purpose, and you're making a mess of it. Because if you don't do this, you will inevitably devolve into a complaint circle or just another drinking club. Okay, a real tribe is on a mission. We're all going somewhere together. So get together. Especially for the first time, get together in a garage, in a park, in a quiet corner of the pub, after a gym class, whatever it might be. Get together and you set the rules of engagement, okay? You forge a simple constitution. And now a simple constitution can be as simple as this. You'll have a mission, so we are here to make each other better men, better fathers, better husbands, better leaders, and that's the only reason we exist, okay? Then you'll have like a rule of honesty. Rule of honesty is vitally important. We are honest even when it's hard. There's no bullshit, no complaining, and we call each other out on our excuses. That's important, okay? You're setting that standard. And then you have sort of the rule of the vault. What is said in the tribe stays in the tribe. This is a sort of a safe, sacred space of complete confidentiality. Again, extremely important for the tribe. And then the rule of action, okay? We are not here to complain. We are here for solutions. We are here for accountability. Every problem is met with a question. What are you going to do about it? You see, simple as that, but we've set the standard. If you've heard that again, so again, I welcome you into my club and I say, right, okay, you want to know more about Strong Dads? We are here to make each other better men, better fathers, better husbands, better leaders, and that's the only reason we exist. We're honest. Even when it's hard, there's no bullshit, and we call each other out on our excuses. What is said in Strong Dads stays in Strong Dads, because this is a sacred space of complete confidentiality. But we are not here to complain. We're here for solutions and accountability, and every problem is met with a question. What are you going to do about it? See, that's framed the standard and framed what we expect from the tribe. And that is it. You create that simple constitution for your tribe. And then you just create a simple ritual to go along with it. It could be as simple, and again, don't over-engineer. It could be as simple as a weekly check-in on a group chat on WhatsApp or Signal. It could be every Sunday night, each man answers 3 questions, like what was your biggest win this week? What did you fail or what did you struggle with this week? And what's your number 1 mission critical objective for the week ahead? Just 3 questions once a week. That's it. It's simple. It's powerful, but it's structure for a real brotherhood. And then you'll just get strengthened and strengthened week on week. This is the kind of work that changes everything. When you have a tribe, you are no longer a lone wolf. Lone wolves never survive. You're part of a pack. Your struggles are shared. Your wins are celebrated by men who understand the same fight that you're in. And also your bullshit is called out with ruthless compassion, because we all want each other to be the absolute best that we can be. You become a better man because you have brothers who refuse to let you settle for anything less than your absolute best. So, brother, I want you to stop accepting your loneliness as fate or admirable or strong, because it's not. It's a choice, and it's a choice that will come to bite you eventually. So what I want you to do is choose a hard, rewarding path of building a brotherhood and choosing a brotherhood. That's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, your mission this week is that reconnaissance element. It's identifying 3 men in your orbit who you respect for whatever reason. Don't have to talk to them. I just want you to identify them, write his name down or write their names down, and take that first step in just observing them, observing their characters and what they do when no one is looking. And if you have a friend who is already isolated, a guy that you haven't spoken to in a while, send him this episode, because it's also going to let him know that you're thinking of him, okay? Be that man who makes that first recontact. And don't underestimate the power of it. It could be the most important message that he receives all year. And just finally remember, guys, a man who is alone is a man who is at risk. A man in the tribe is a man on a mission, and a man who will be successful and happy. So until next time, guys, strength and honor.